Yes.
Okay. So I'm sure that we've all seen those infomercials, maybe about Shazam or Wow or Kaboom or whatever it is, and you watch them, and they maybe put the clothes, stained clothes, they put them in the washer, they bring them out, and then magically they're white, they're clean as new, they're the same color, the stain is gone, the carpet's cleaner, the couch is fixed, the scratch on the car is completely eradicated, the dent's gone. You've seen it, I know you've seen it. And I think what's interesting is that a lot of times when we watch those commercials, we tend to view that as background noise. We tune it out. I don't actually ever believe that any of those things I see on infomercials ever work. I think the problem is that we don't allow the audience to test those. So our book talks about how we need the audience to test whatever it is that we're trying to communicate to them. And then in turn, we gain some credibility. I think there's two things that we gain. I think the first thing is that we end up proving ourselves right. So we give the audience the chance to test out, try it out for yourself. And in doing that, if you've been truthful and you're not telling a lie, then them just simply acting out whatever it is, trying the new carpet stain remover, trying this new principle in life, they end up proving your idea correct. And so that boosts our credibility because we're not liars, we're not exaggerators, they've given us a good reason to stand by. I think the other thing is that you get the audience to test it, and so you have a street team, so to speak. So you get to test out your product, and then that person sees that it works, and so then they can go and tell others. So not only do you have a professional opinion, but you're bringing them into your knowledge, and you're also letting them go and tell others about this same product. And so, like I said before, I think that infomercials, while they're great and they give us this sense of how products might work and just the, this exaggeration of what happens, I think that we tend to view those as background noise. And I think when we take our messages and we allow the audience to test them and we make them something testable, hey, try it out yourself, we see that we gain credibility and we can also bring people into our same knowledge and then just ultimately make our message clearer and more believable.
So stand up there, and we'll each ask a question. Does anyone have one they want to start with? Go ahead.
Do you have like an instance where you actually did test something out and it did prove to work? Like you were kind of the audience.
So did I have an instance where I tested something out and I was able to prove my message, or the audience, I was a member of the audience?
Yes.
Okay, so I was a member of the audience. I would say my best example of that is when I took speech in high school, and a lot of people don't know this about me, but before I kind of became good at speaking, I used to get really embarrassed, and my face would turn bright red, and I was a horrible speaker. And I remember Mrs. Kelly giving me some tips. I met with her after class one day, and she gave me some tips on how I could get rid of that, and one of those was stepping into the fizzy spot, which we've learned in class, and figuring out how to connect with my audience in a way that felt like I was telling friends. And so she said, hey, just try it out, just test it out. And I was like, there's no way this is not going to work. And it ended up working. So I would say, ultimately, she gave me some advice about how do I overcome my embarrassment of public speaking, and I was able to.
Go ahead, Marissa.
Have you ever tried something from a TV commercial?
Have I ever tried something from a TV commercial? Okay, this is a little bit embarrassing, but I have. I have those bra strap clips that are like their little butterfly type of thing, and you put two of them together so you can wear Razorback tank tops. So yes, I have. And I love them. I have like 6 orders of them.
Do you think that the demonstrations done on an info commercial counts as a form of audience testing though, because they're seeing it demonstrated in front of them?
I certainly think some of them do, especially when they have a live audience. However, I know at least me personally, whenever I look at those infomercials, and I'm trying to decide whether or not I feel like the audience is getting a chance to test it, I have to say, okay, well, this is TV. So if this is TV, are they making it up? Are these audience members, are they told to respond the way they are? Are the people that are trying the product? So I would say in some cases, yes, and then I think in other cases, no, I don't think it's a good enough, because you're not physically getting to do it on your couch. You're just watching others.
So far you've talked about commercials and audience tests. Can you give me an example, either something you've done or you've heard of public speaking audience tests, where you can test your audience in the actual speech, not a filmed commercial?
The one example I could give for somebody doing like a public speaking thing where they said, hey, test it. It's still a product test, but it was Maggie Thompson's, it was in Persuasive Com, and she had created this product, and she gave this really great speech about this product that she'd created, and if she thought it was a tennis shoe that you could write on. And when she was giving the speech, she was able to let us test it. And she said, I can't remember exactly what she said, but she said that the act of testing, like, it would express creative, like creativity, and you have this, some of these things that you get emotionally from wearing the shoe. And because we got to test the shoe, I think a lot of people did get to experience like some creative expression and something maybe they didn't think would come out of a shoe. So that would be the best example I would have of someone using that in a public speaking sense.
Okay, thank you. Let's give a round of applause.